find 8 nuts. And that means this is a 12,000-pound axle, because that is a wheel that could be on a 12,000-pound axle.
If I had done a walk around like I should have instead of running home from work and jumping in the truck, I would have noticed that
you've lost one.
I've lost one.
You've lost one of those, and something happened to this.
Yeah, that happened a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the date on your tires? There is a little round date on here somewhere. Okay, what is this? Read me that number. 0917. That's the 9th week of 2017 that tire was made. Okay? There is a date on every single one of your tires. If you can't find the tire date, it's before 2006, and you are way wrong. You need new tires. So, what load range is that? Does anybody see a load range on that tire? Yeah, here's one. What is this right here, Dan? It's a weird angle. Load range. It's an E? Okay.
Should be an E.
C is the absolute minimum. Most trailer tires, you're looking for E or G. But when you see people, they buy a $40,000 beautiful or more rig, guess where the trailer manufacturer can make some bucks? Sell you shitty tires. Am I allowed to say that? We're talking manure, right? They sell you a crappy tire, and instead of this, a load range E tire is probably $200 a piece. A load range G tire that has even more tread on it and more steel in there will be $300. $300 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's $1,500 every 5 years you got to use to replace. But guess what? You put those good tires on there, you won't have them busting out on the side of the road. You won't get stuck on the side of the interstate in the middle of the night. All those kind of things, okay?
And 5 years is 5 years.
That's right. And
no more.
The manufacturers will tell you 5 years, okay? So.
Doesn't matter miles.
Doesn't matter about miles. Check the date on your tires. Look for at least 5 nuts. I would prefer 6 or 8 nuts, because that means it's a bigger quality axle, it can take more weight, especially if you're talking about a gooseneck, okay? There are some, I am going to post them on the website. Did everybody see on the Facebook site or something? We will post those links on there. So there's a lady, an engineer up in Purdue who did 2 publications. They're free to read online. It'll tell you everything you ever wanted to know about how to match a truck and a trailer and the tire safety and all those kind of things. It'll keep you guys safe. Because what happens to most ladies, you didn't grow up doing all this, right? So for most of us, it's like gobbledygook. We don't want you to get yourself hurt, and we don't want you to get your horse hurt. So we'll try to make it simple, give you some resources that'll make you smart. And in worst case scenario, what you do is you find the man that's in your life and you beat up on him to read it so that he can, you poor bastard, okay? So that he can, that's what I did with my sweetie, okay? Because I try to get smart about it, but he's an engineer, so I just put him to work. So tires are the first thing you should look at. The next thing you want to do is make sure that it has brakes that work, and that these things have been lubricated. Behind this little thing right there and underneath there's bearings. The bearings have to be lubricated. If you haul a lot, you should be replacing that lubricant in those bearings at least once a year, okay? And maybe no more than every 2 years.
Well, yeah, it depends on the mileage.
Yeah, how much mileage, okay? But you've got to have the right lubrication in there. So you get your bearings packed. How many of you guys at least once a year take your trailer to get somebody, whether it's the husband or somebody that knows what they're doing, okay? That's what you should do. Find somebody. There's got to be somebody in the Anderson area that does trailers that can help you guys as far as the safety of your trailers. They should be checking the tires, checking the brakes, checking the wheels, checking the floors. You guys see that thing on Facebook today with those 10 horses that went through the floor? Yeah, they dragged them for a mile and a half down the road. Okay? The floors failing these things, it's awful. Okay? They call the vet like the vet's going to be able to do something. There's nothing left to put together. Okay?
4 miles for them.
Rebecca,
That's right. Yeah.
when we leave the house, we always check the trailer brakes as we're going out, okay? To make sure the trailer brakes will, like, you can feel them
Grab.
work. We were somewhere, lost the brakes on the truck. The only thing that stopped us and kept us from going off a mountain was the trailer brakes.
Yep. because you got the separate controller.
We had the
in your
controller,
trailer.
he's there going, and he's going, because he's going like this and there's no brakes. None.
Now
Gone.
that's the worst case scenario you
Oh,
could
yeah.
ever have.
Yeah, well,
That's awful.
If you ever overheat your brakes,
yeah.
that will melt the grease out of it. So if you have any kind of doubt that you got your trailer brakes hot, go get them re-greased, repack it.
Yep.
I mean, because the very next thing that happens, no grease in there, you spin a bearing, comes
And then you
off.
cause a fire too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but you know, once you get them, and it's not hard to get them hot. You know, when you're going down a mountain or something, and the minute you take your foot off the brake, you're doing 70, then you're going to ride the brakes.
That's right.
And you know, I have done that and been able to look out the side window and see them smoking. You know, but then you know, because you have a choice to make. Am I going to go 70 miles an hour down this mountain, or am I going to burn up a set of brakes? And you burn up a set of brakes.
You're exactly right.
But when you get home, you get them fixed.
Everybody move around here. The rule for horse trailers: you should have at least 2 ways to keep that son of a gun in there. It can be a ramp and a door. It can be a door and a butt bar or chain, but 2 ways, because horses can end up out of these things. This is another thing you gotta check, okay? Most of these things are pretty tough, but if your horse falls through that or puts a foot through it, Brender Up, if you look at a Brender Up trailer, it's plywood underneath there, okay? It's only a matter of time till it gets wet. That's why Brender Up went out of business in the United States. Rebecca was raising hell about Brender Up trailers for a long time. It's awful, okay? So we've got 2 ways to prevent the horse from falling out. Let's get everybody get up here where you can see into this. Of course, I just told her, bring your trailer. So she gets points that it's cleaned out, okay? Trailers should be, you should knock out the worst of it, brush it out, whatever, every single time you use it, okay? And then on a pretty regular basis, you should wash it out. Clean it out pretty detailed. Use a pressure washer, whatever you got to use. There's some pH stabilizers you can use. This is an aluminum trailer. Do you know if it's aluminum underneath there too? Woman, how are you? I'm not giving up my bed tonight just because of you.
Sure.
Okay, sorry, that's her mama. Okay, so aluminum trailer. You do have to worry about corrosion. It's not rust. People say, oh, it's an aluminum trailer. It won't rust. You're right, it won't. It corrodes. It's the same thing. So you still have to worry about that. You got to get this thing cleaned out so that it maintains the integrity. Now this one, you can tell it's been sealed. So that makes it harder for any corrosion or water to get down in there. But that would make me doubly concerned about getting under there once a year underneath and looking up to make sure that there's nothing that's been sneaking through, okay? All right, you guys come on in here. I think everybody can fit in.
It's gonna be post.
That's right. Y'all come on in. I won't hurt anybody, and I won't talk too loud. Okay, some of the problems that we have in horse trailers. There is actually a guy that put a bunch of horse trailers in a wind tunnel in Mississippi State University to see whether or not they had sufficient ventilation. What do you think the answer was?
No.
Nothing has enough ventilation, okay? So, the challenge is, as you're going down the road, when you've got all your windows open and all those things, you probably have some ventilation. But the thing is, a horse makes lots of heat, okay? So, it gets hot and sweaty in here. You gotta have your windows open at all times. What happens in August when you get trapped in the weather, okay? Or you get trapped at a light, or you get trapped in traffic? The horses are back here just sweating their guts off. So my suggestion for most trailers, especially ones like this that are easy to close in, is provide some ventilation by getting some of those plastic fans that run off of the power on your truck. When you're driving down the road, if there's a problem, it starts to get hot, those kind of things, you can crank those fans up. If you go to Tractor Supply or Lowe's, you can actually buy a little transmitter for the weather. and you put it in this truck, this trailer, somewhere where the horses can't dink with it, which I can't imagine any place that you can have it where the horse wouldn't dink with it. But you put it in here. If you put it up here, it'll be too hot, okay? Because you'll probably have some heat coming in from that area. But it'd be nice to have it somewhere at chest height, where you can look at the humidity and you can look at the temperature while you're driving down the road. Because the receiver's in the truck with you, you can tell. Now, these days with the technology we have, you can get little cameras, you can watch what the animals are doing in here. That will help you a lot. But this is really the most dangerous thing you can ever do with a horse, to me, is ask him to load into a place that's absolutely alien to him, and then ask him to like stand in here, okay? So set yourself up for success by having a really safe trailer, making sure you make it as nice as it possibly can be in here. I encourage people, it's technically illegal to do, have somebody else drive your trailer with you back here in the yard, in the pasture, down your little road down next to your house, and listen to it. Because I've been in people's trailers where something was metal and it's screechy, scratching, and no, horses can hear so well, it's gotta drive them crazy. Or there'll be chains bumping, or whatever. So fix those problems, make sure there's some ventilation in that trailer, and then of course you also have to drive like you have a sane head. It looks like everybody here is of an age, except for you, that you know, you'll think about it.
She may be the best driver here.
That's right. But the thing is, you really do have to take the horses, they're being back here. The way I do it with 4-Hers and pony clubbers is I put them in here and I drive the truck and I make them hold their hands and I don't let them touch the walls. So they have to drive around the truck and I drive like a sane person and then I drive like an idiot. And they're, of course, they're laughing and having fun, you know, joking around. But it makes the point to young people, this is dangerous, it's difficult, it's hard for the horse to stand up in any of these conveyances, and of course have to deal with, you know, the crazy things of, you know, I'm a horse and I'm in a confined space and all those kind of things. Otherwise, this is a pretty safe trailer. I don't see anything that is absolutely sticking out to me. I always look for, you know, it's metal. Metal things can change. You know, you can end up with sharp places, those kind of things. I love the fact that she attaches her horse to this little cheapo piece of hay string, okay? When she ties her horses, for whatever reason she has to tie them, you tie them to hay string. This stuff will break in a catastrophic thing. And then what will happen is, whatever you've got the horse attached to, he's got a little halter and a lead rope on when he comes out, okay? So I do like using these things. People say, well, I've got one of those panic snaps, but you have to have an opposable thumb, which you have to get in here with your opposable thumb, and that's not a place I really want to be. So that's just a way to think about it. I would encourage you guys, go home, look in your trailers with a new eye. What would possibly be dangerous? What could my horse put his foot through? I like these things. These things will actually break, okay? If a horse puts a foot through there and jerks, these aluminum ones will break. Steel won't, okay? So that's why they're spaced it the way they are. Just take a look at your trailers and think about that from a safety perspective. And again, I'll give you the references for the maintenance part of checking out your trailers. I can't imagine not having all of these open. She doesn't have them all open. I'm going to tell her, she's in South Carolina now. They used to be in Nebraska. But you need to have all those ram jets open because that's your ventilation for the trailer coming down on the horses. Questions?
If you have one horse in like a 3 slant load like this, would you place them towards the front, the middle, the back?
I would put him right here because he's not there. I can put all my hay and crap there with a stud divider. It keeps it from rolling through him. But when somebody hits the back of my trailer, they won't kill him. That is actually the most dangerous place to be. I have got so many pictures of people who have slammed in the back of trailers and the horse that's in the back of the trailer gets hit first. Okay, it's awful. Which is a good reason for putting a bunch of reflective on the back of your truck, or back of your trailer. If you notice, what's funny about that, DOT requires you to have a certain amount of reflective on the back of your trailer, but it's just a red and white line, and it usually falls off after about 2 or 3 years because it's just sticky, and people don't notice. And they don't realize how dangerous it is. So go home tonight, when you guys get home from this, pull up behind your trailer with your car lights and look at how reflective it is. You probably can't see it. So now imagine coming down the road, you're on the side of the road, 70 miles an hour, somebody coming up on you in the dark, and could you see your trailer? I have so much reflective on the back of my trailer, that if you hit it, you got to be blind, because there's no rule that says you can't have more reflective. So I have it along the top, on the insides. If I'm on the side of the door and I open the doors, it's still got reflective there. Just overdo it. It's cheap. What I usually tell people is at Christmas time, instead of getting together with your girlfriends and buying the little crappy things of soap that everybody already has a million of, buy them some reflective tape. It's about $50 just to do the back of your truck, but it's the best gift you could ever give anybody. So,
People
all
will
right.
pay more attention to the reflective tape than they will to the big caution horses sign.
That's right. Yeah, I like the reflective tape. All right, let's hop out of here.